Hello, bag chasers. Hello, everyone. We are back. It's your boy, Reckless Ray De Niro. We are in the house. We're back here again with another portfolio update. But before we get to that, let's handle the housekeeping. First of all, shout out to the bag chasers. If you are in the bag chasers group, that is the Anton Daniels bag chasers. You will be getting this 72 hours, 3 days in advance of everyone else. The general public does not get this till Wednesday. Those in the bag chasers will be getting this via the cryptocurrency channel, the content creation channel, and probably I'm going to start throwing in the bag talk channel because this is technically bag talk. Um, Today, January 15th, when this is being recorded live. Obviously, if you haven't noticed, I do these in one shots because I am not the type of person who needs to really, it's not my nature to plan these out. Like I have my talking points, I fill them up, and then I do them one shot. Information for joining the Bag Chasers, which is not my Patreon group. That Patreon group belongs to Anton Daniels of AntonDaniels.com. So for this next 12-month stint, 2023, going into the bull run, they will be getting exclusively first. They will, if you want to get this information, if it has a value to you and you want it first, then that's going to be the avenue to get at it. Also, if you have questions, comments, or want to pick my brain about stuff, that's going to be the only way to do it and get immediate responses. I have added the email recklessraydenaro@gmail.com in the description so you guys can email questions there, and as I get those questions I will answer them on the next week's episode. That's another avenue that I'm opening up this year to the people who are following. So if you have a question and that goes across any of my content, it's going to be the same email dump, just I hash those out. Like if I'm going to answer a question, it will be in the proper channel of what the question pertains to. So if it's a cryptocurrency related question, it will go obviously in the cryptocurrency video. It will be tied in with the portfolio update. If it is a general finance budgeting related question, it will go in the future finance, and any of the other channels that I release throughout the year, any questions, like that's going to be the dump. If you're looking to collaborate, looking to reach out and make contact, that is going to be the email that you're going to go through. Again, that is recklessraydenaro@gmail.com. I do check that. I do respond. Obviously, I don't have a bunch of followers, so it's just me. You are contacting me. I am the one who answers those. So, yeah. So, moving on. We have made some moves this week. We've got some stuff that's a brewing. We've got some moves that are being made. That happened specifically this week. First thing we want to point out though is this is a green week, guys. Like that's good. I mean, for most people it's good. For me, it's a little nerve-wracking because prices are up and I like deals. I like buying stuff off the floor, so it makes moving money in a little bit more contemptuous for me. It gives me a little bit more stress. I do better in the bull market or in the bear market, because when everything's down and everyone's fleeing the market, everything's a good deal. So we're not in a bull run. We'll touch on that later, but we are definitely having some upward movement. My portfolio has bloated itself a little bit, but I also finally have a top 10. So in the bag chasers, I will be accompanying this with my top 10 holdings. So let's go through those, because this is the first time we've had it, because we actually have 10 positions. So obviously number 1, Ethereum. Number 2, Synthetics SNX. Number 3, Y Curve Yearn Curve. Number 4, Wrap Bitcoin. Number 5, Swapfish. Number 6, Wrapped Ethereum. Number 7, SBTC, which is a synthetic BTC. Number 8, Atom. Number 9 is USDC, which is just wrap stable. It's a stable coin. And number 10 is Luna Classic, which was our DGen gambling play that we're just letting run. So, that's cool. The other thing is, obviously, the portfolio has turned into the green to the tune of 24%, which is always nice when you know, make some plays that work out. The other thing to be noted is during an actual bull run, if your portfolio is not green, you should not be in this market. That means you made all bad decisions. Cryptocurrency bull runs are the easiest bull runs to navigate, period, hands down. Everyone looks like a genius. It's really hard to be wrong. This portfolio this year is probably the most conservative I've started out ever. Not necessarily because I'm documenting it, but just in the general sense that in the past 9 years pre this year, because this is my 10th year doing this, I've bumped my head really early on and had some horrendous losses throughout the year from being greedy. So at this point in the game, for me, I'm looking to just stack wins, because realistically, this is a game of doubling up. And if I can consistently do that, then I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be better than good, and I'm looking to make rolling into the legitimate bull run a year where I am not only doubling up these portfolio values, but I'm also stashing away, figuring out how to increase my net worth in the crypto space. So this year I'm doing it in the way, and obviously you can't see me, but I'm considering it air quotes of doing it right, which means that you build out your foundation first and then you get into the riskier stuff. And so for those of you who are listening and can't see, what we're looking at here is, if you want to look at the portfolio breakdown right now, I am sitting this current portfolio for this active year, 44.9% is in Ethereum, 34% is in synthetics, and then from there it's all small positions. So it's like the next highest is going to be 8.9% in Yearn Curve, which is the Yearn's version of the synthetic version of the Curve token. And the next one down from that is Wrapped Bitcoin, which is 3%. And then I've got 2.5% of Wrapped Ethereum, 1.3% of synthetic BTC. And that's pretty much how we're sitting. It's very conservative. These are very boring plays for right now, but they're very useful plays due to the level of volatility that I believe the market's going to have this year. And, going in, like my goal this year, as I've stated in the first video, actually before we were going in here, this year I'm trying to accumulate as much Ethereum as possible. So before I am going into the market with funds, I am building up amounts of Ethereum that are either a half of Ethereum or higher. I am then depositing them on Alchemix. I am then borrowing 50% of the value of the deposited Ethereum, and then I am using that to invest in the positions that are coming into this portfolio. So with that said, the reason I'm doing that and the logic behind it is the Alchemix loans pay themselves back in roughly around 5 years, and that's if you don't pay the loan back at all yourself. But it's also based on the APR or the APYs of how they're doing their investments on the back end on that platform. My intent is I am going to clear that loan at the end of this year with what I've made. One of the shifts that I've made this week that is seen on here is you're going to notice that I am taking positions in the wrapped Bitcoin and the synthetic Bitcoin. I am yield farming that. I've added another position on the Optimism network because when you stake synthetics, they give you synthetic USD, which is their synthetics stablecoin that's produced by the Synthetics Network. Um, and instead of having that just sit, because I was looking at some of the options that they have for you to do, and I kind of dabbled around in a few of the different ones. I haven't found anything that I really liked or that I really want to use. Like it's cool stuff if you're into those fields, but like I want some stuff that I know really for the most part isn't going to have that much downside. And as we all know, like me personally, I am a miser with my money when it comes to money sitting. Like I want it active. So for me, the one of the tools that I lean heavily in is if you've been following for a while when I was doing the more complex stuff, I'm really big on convex finance, which comes from most of their pools. I'm not going to say all of their pools, but most of their pools come from curve finance. So I went back and started doing some research, and I looked in there and I found a good pool that is for wrapped Bitcoin and synthetic Bitcoin. And I was like, well, this money that they're loaning me out, I keep like a little bit to manage my account for synthetics, to manage that position, because like if it goes under, you don't get your payout for the week. Like you got to keep it at 400%. So sometimes you've got to burn your dollars back in that they loaned you to release those synthetics tokens to balance it out if it goes under. If it's over, it just kicks out tokens to balance itself out, and then you go back in there and you have to like add them back in to bring that percentage down. So like right now on synthetics, I'm collateralized at 417%, so I'm in the green. Got no issues about being able to collect my weekly payouts. And so right now, as it sits with what I've got in there, it's kicking out roughly roundabout at current rates. It's about like $10.50 a week, which is cool. It's whatever. It's like $40 a month. Nothing to sneer at. My goal during the bear market, which I believe we are still, and I am still considering, and I am still looking at everything as though we are in a bear market. My goal is $200 a month in this space. So I'm probably going to be moving and holding most of that in Bitcoin because I am very long Bitcoin as well. And since I'm not buying it this year directly, I think that that's going to be a good holding for me, considering that, wrap Bitcoin, I can get it onto the appropriate chain. I can go convert it over to original Bitcoin fairly easily now because WBTC, you can hit an exchange with it, switch it over. But I think that the play is going to be is letting that position just accumulate whatever it can and build on it throughout the year. And then if Bitcoin pumps, it's two synthetics that are both pegged to Bitcoin that are pretty close in price. It's about a $200 variance here. But you're not going to have very much in permanent loss. As it goes up, when you cash them both out, you've got all your network fees and stuff you get to collect on it. Plus, I'll be collecting on it the entire time that I am holding it, which will be for the year, which is cool. I think we're going to be doing some pretty good stuff probably by the end of this year if everything goes the way that I think it's going to go. Bitcoin's price should be, we're going to hit some volatility, but it should be above where it is now, in my opinion. That's fine, not financial advice. I don't, I'm not rich, so what do I know? But I got a hypothesis, and we're going to test it out, and I'm testing it out with my personal money. So that's my rationale for what I'm doing with that. That's the position added because I liquidated, I converted over some of my SUSD that I had built up, because every time you recollateralize, you're getting a little bit more SUSD. And I didn't want to sit on a bunch of cash. And this was, in my opinion, something that I'm comfortable with sitting on for a year and just letting it sit there and just, managing it very minimally. So those positions you will probably see grow because all of the after I hit my metrics for what I need for each position for the year, like once I hit my caps, I'm probably going to start taking all that payment that I'm getting and moving it over to this position, and then we'll sit on that. And if we need to buy some dips or do anything of that nature, that will be addressed from that pool of money, and that'll just be the opportunity fund, like the active opportunity fund for this year. Um, that aside, I mean, I am feeling pretty good about all the stuff that I've got in here. We're going to be doing a play on Polygon Matic after I finish my curve position. But that aside, I mean, we're trucking along. Like we're still building towards that next buy-in, and the next buy-in with the way that the rates are going up on everything. You know, the dollar cost average doesn't change. It's going to take a little bit longer to hit that 0.5 ETH marker for me to pull, but you know, we've got the stack on that coming, also using the strategy that I'm using on KuCoin. And you know, as soon as we hit that, regardless of what the price is, if it's up, we're buying. If it's down, we're gonna get a little bit better deal. But we're gonna keep trucking along. We're gonna keep following the plan. I have really stuck to following the plan this year, which is cool. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to kick over. I'm going to try and start, if I don't have questions or I don't have any bits of news that I see relevant to share, I'm just going to start sharing some tools that I use. So since we've mentioned Convex, we're gonna look at that, but we're also going to look at Curve. So the Curve pool, this is basically Curve Finance or Curve.fi, Curve.fi, is a place where you will swap stables for the least amount of fees. So that's really what they specialize in. They have a swap function. They specialize in swapping in and out of stables. Basically anything that is held on their platform, they have deep liquidity for. So you're going to get, basically, if you're swapping a stable into a stable, you'll get the least amount of slippage here. You will also get the least amount of fees. And they have a lot of pools where, you know, like providing liquidity, they, you know, incentivize you to provide liquidity here. The thing that you can do is, instead of staking it here for the liquidity, you can actually move it over to, and this is the other tool that I used, you saw this a lot last year, over to Convex. And you can bring it over here and get boosted and additional rewards. You know, this isn't, I consider this not as degen as some of my other plays because the numbers are much lower. Like the highest it gets is 100% on here. I've seen 300% on here for a new pool, but it's like a week. And, you know, unless they're boosting it or there's some sort of incentive to like deepen these liquidities, there's not a whole lot going on. So like early on in the year, I'm a little bit riskier, but I also made those positions smaller this year. So generally speaking, if it's a position that I'm deeming as a degen position, I am only putting about $500 in it for me, because if it blows up and it grows, then like I can scalp it and I can scalp it back down to that 500, and then I don't care what happens because I got my money out. The other stuff I'm kind of looking over here because these platforms I view as they're very boring. The numbers are small. Like you're getting your incentives and you're getting trading fees, and you know that's what it is. So I'm a little bit more comfortable with here, and also my positions that I put over on Yearn Finance or Yearn Finance, that's another one. But specifically to these two, the reason I like them is because it's nothing that's crazy. Like I don't have to sit here and ruminate and like worry about this. Like I can find stuff that I want to be in, get into it, and, you know, for the most part, just making sure that the pool is still there. It's about it. Um, it's one of the income generating two of the income generating platforms that are at the core of my model this year for how we're going to do this without hopefully having stuff blow up in our faces. Um, just because it's just too easy to get too far off the rails on these yield farming things. And like, since I've been doing yield farming for 5 years, and you know, it's great when it's great during the bull run. It's amazing. You feel like you're really doing something, but during the during the crash at the end of these bull runs, a lot of those plays get completely washed out, or like things start collapsing, or people who were too high on the hog got too over leveraged and did too much stuff, and then it comes back, and you know, you're sitting there and you're wondering what the heck happened and what's going on and how did you get here. So what I'm doing this year is like I said, my more degen plays, or the high risk farms, will be at a floating 500. And like, if I need to buy in to like buy some dips to buy stuff down, and it's not something that I think is going to completely collapse and go away, then I will do that. But it's going to keep it at that 500 mark, and then I'm just going to eat off of it and like use that. Obviously it's going to go back into this wrapped Bitcoin, and we're going to build that up, and then hopefully at the end of the year, if I've done a good job, that pool will be large enough, and like we'll have enough growth in it to pay back my Alchemix loan and clear that out, so that way we can free those funds up for the bull run year of 220 or of 2024, to restart this cycle all over again, and you know, make some more plays for that year and just keep it growing. And that's the way that I'm looking at running this year. So with that said, we're gonna close out on that point. It was a nice little hot shot. We actually had some stuff going along. Obviously we've reached 10 positions, so we have a top 10 now, which is cool, and we're gonna leave it at that. Ways to support the channel: there are links, there are referral links down there. It pretty much clearly states what you get. Like most referrals, if you're an affiliate for a platform or a service or anything, I high key recommend using those links. That's one of the things that I did screw up on when I started, that would have not I don't think it would have necessarily been a game changer for me, but like, free money is free money. So like, I did not have a bunch of affiliate links. I think I maybe had the opportunity to use like two. But everything that I am affiliated with, I do have on a link down in the description, and most of those I define out like what you get out of it. So usually it's either a discount for the platform, money, like they give you, if you deposit $100 and invest, and you get like 10-20 bucks. But you know, getting something only adds to that pool that you're starting with. And I mean, I know a lot of people, like when I started, I was investing change, like very little of anything out of my paychecks, so like what I had. My tax return, I did stop building new computers, and you know, just started riding computers out and taking the whole tax return and dumping it into the market and investing it, like putting it into something that could grow, and it did. So I understand. I just wish I had used those referral links, because like I don't know that I really had access to a bunch of them, but I know that there were a few where I just like overlooked it, or I got really in a rush to set something up, and you know, FOMO got the best of me, and next thing you know, like I'm setting it up, and I'm like, oh, I didn't use that referral link. Oh, I missed out on that 20 bucks or that 10 bucks. And looking back now, I mean, when you're looking at it and you're having some of these projects that I had invested in that went like, you know, 10-15x, like that on 10 bucks, like if you take if you take $10 and you go in and you hit a 10x, I mean, that turns that $10 into $100. That's $100 in free money. You do and that's just a 10x. Like you do 100, that's $1,000. Like it scales. And so like in this space, I'm like, don't pass up free money. Like if you're not going to use my referral links, use somebody's referral links. But if you want to support this channel and support me, definitely check out the referrals down there in the description. Also, if you have questions, you can email me in the description. You can also join the Bag Chasers at antondaniels.com. There's a link for that. You can join his Patreon group and, get in the Discord. You can ask questions there. You can also email them, recklessraydinero@gmail.com. There's also a couple of links to, it's got my Cash App down there, Bitcoin and Ethereum addresses down there, that if you guys want to show some love and shoot me some cryptos, like always welcome. Or, do something to support the channel, because like the Cash App, all the Cash Apps that I get are going directly back into this channel, make things better, get better equipment, expand the channel, do some marketing, get some more people to join the tribe. With that said, I hope you guys have had a great week. Hope you made it through the weekend without fumbling the bag. Also, hope that you're putting things in place and acting on some of the information that you guys are taking in to make this year the best year of your life. This is your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, and I am out. You guys have a good one.